it sucks the queens were literally on their way to plant creep instead of on that top of the ramp like they could have been. So as you can see, Future versus Pezz. Pezz was the replacement for Probe. Probe is going to go to a concert, actually. So he did not have the best day on Friday, but as we've been saying, it was one of those times where it's just like, if only X thing was different, if only that thing was a little bit different, if only this thing was a little bit different, and if only that all hadn't happened, he would have a better mentality for that game. Like, it was kind of a snowball effect, just one of those days that probably sucked. We have him on ladder all the time. You just hope to God it doesn't happen on a tournament. That's what happened to Pezz. So
I never have those days. What are you talking about?
Don't lie to me, Rob.
Every day is a winning day. All I do is win, win, win.
Of course.
I have them very often.
Yeah, I think we all do.
You know what I always do? It's like if I lose like 4 or 5 games in a row, I just switch an account. I was like, okay, now I'm going to be serious.
I know.
Even though the 2 accounts are very closely matched, I was like, that's my warm-up account. Okay, guys,
Obviously.
now you get serious, Roddy. But it does help because it does kind of feel like you're starting from scratch again.
I agree. Yeah.
You're like, okay, I had a bad session on that account, but now I'll focus on the other account and I'm going to crush it. I think that helps.
I have 1 account, but I like to play the other races, right? So
Yeah,
if I'm like trying really hard with Terran and I'm like losing, I'm just like, all right, you know, like forget this, time to play some Protoss, and then I'll make fun of how Protoss easy, you know, how easy it is while I'm still losing, but I'm having fun, so it doesn't really matter.
I used to like, or I used to enjoy playing off-race a little bit more, but I feel like last year or even the last 2 years, I feel like it's been so busy in StarCraft that I traveled so much that I'm having the toughest time staying at a respectable level for myself with Protoss. You know, like obviously I like, you know, like if you are 5-6, 5-7 on Europe, like I think you can always be proud of that, and I am. But if you used to be like 6-1, then I'm like, man, like I don't want to play Zerg or Terran right now. Like I've got work to do, you know. Like I want to get back to where I was. Like, cause I was like, you're always proud if you're peaking, right? Like it doesn't really matter what level you play at in StarCraft, whether you're Platinum, League, Diamond, Master, or GM. Like your personal best, that's kind of the benchmark, and you want to get close to your personal best. You don't always have to be improving, or you don't always need to improve your personal MMR record. But you want to be somewhat close. And then people are like, hey, Roddy, you want to play some Zerg? I'm like, no, I'm struggling at 5-6. This is 500 MMR below what I was 2 months ago, you know?
Okay, so like I think a lot of people have this too, but like if I'm losing, that's the time that I want to play the most, right? Yeah. People like, you'll be like losing 10 games in a row and you'll be like, this game is so stupid. I can't believe I play it, but I do. God, I'm so dumb. And people like, you know, very understandably be like, hey, like don't worry about it, you know, take a break or play a different race or play some custom games. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep playing. Shut up. Like, I might lose, but I'm going to keep playing.
I don't think you could have said it any better. The worst thing in the world to me to hear, or the worst thing that I could possibly hear when I'm losing, they're like, hey, Roddy, go take a break, play a different game. I'm like, no, I never played different games anyway, and I just lost 7 in a row. Like, why would I be like, well, guys, that's it for StarCraft today? It's like, how am I going to enjoy the rest of my day from 0-7 over here, mate? Come on. Yeah. So I'm getting ready, guys, to set up our second series that is going to be finally some Protoss action. Like Jess just said, it is going to be Future going up versus Pezz. Even though Pezz has had a lot of tough luck in this tournament, and obviously you can say he's very fortunate that Probe couldn't play today. I do want to give a shout out to Probe, by the way. Like he kind of knew this, and he wasn't sure yet, but he had something personal that he wanted to attend in his private life, and it really meant a lot to him. So he said, in the end, I couldn't do it. But Probe has been a blast this weekend, okay? Like, I've always liked Probe. You know, he was one of those guys I saw him at events. I would have a little chat with him, and I was like, yeah, Probe is a cool dude. But I never really thought much more of him because I wasn't that close with him. This weekend, man, I feel like he's been one of the... In Dutch, we have a word for this. And the word is smaakmaker, which means like you're creating the flavor. So he's like not a trendsetter. Damn it, what's the right word for smaakmaker? It's just like he's one of the guys that has really brought the energy and the good vibes, and he brings smiles to people's faces. You know, he just came in very energetic, and he's been so damn fun to be around. He made people laugh all weekend long. Probe has just been fantastic, and I'm really going to miss him today. A, because I would have loved to cast his games, but B, just because he was such a positive energy all weekend long.
Yeah, he absolutely was. He came the day early, I believe. That's why he's in a lot of that downtime content you guys see. So he was there doing that. And he's been obviously a part of the a lot of the other downtime content, like the charades and hosting some interview stuff. So it was a blast having him. But just on that topic in general, it's been really cool to meet people that honestly, like we probably wouldn't meet. Like Future, I would probably meet Vindicta eventually at one of the North American tournaments. But a lot of these guys, you know, don't actually make it to the international tournaments because they live in the middle of nowhere. And there was only 2 spots for them back then. Now there's only 1 spot.
It's like, hey man, you want to come to DreamHack Leipzig? It's going to be like a 29-hour journey. And 3 different plane rides, probably. Yeah. It's like it's just not that easy for these guys to make it out to some of the big events. So that's why it's been an absolute pleasure for us to just spend more than the casual, like either online experience or maybe like a 3-minute chat at a WCS event once a year. Truly has been a unique opportunity, and it was one of those events when I got asked at first. I was like, should I do this? As like one of my resolutions for this year was maybe travel like a little bit less and focus a bit more on personal health, And that really is still a goal for me this year. But then it's like first week of the year, do you want to go to Australia? I was like, man, can I turn this down? I was like, I cannot turn this down. Like, I've always wanted to come to Australia. I can meet a lot of new people of our lovely scene. I was like, I gotta do this, and I'm so damn happy I did because it's just been a blast.
Yeah, let's do the intros, and then I have talk more about how great Australia is. In the top left has the red tear, and he is Future.
Australia really is that great, though. Like, it's everything that I hoped for and expected, and even more.
Pretty nice.
In the right bottom side, we're looking at the main base of the Protoss, who had such a tough run in this tournament, but he got lucky because he replaced Probe in the playoffs here. It is Pezz. For the people who don't know Pezz that well, he's currently ranked 28 Grandmaster League on the North American server, so that's obviously pretty damn high. But if you look on the left top side, you're looking at somebody who's often rank 1, rank 2, rank 3 Grandmaster League on the North American server. So there is a skill difference there. Future is absolutely the favorite. We're not going to spin it in any other way. But let's just hope that Pezz can put up a good fight. Maybe even steal a map, because then things can get really interesting.
Yeah. Well, we saw from Pezz in his games on Friday, that was, I think we both agreed, and just in general in the Australian scene, decision making to be a bit of a problem, and specifically for the initial Pezz game that was like the start of the day on Friday. That was a pretty sick, yeah, almost base trade type thing. There's just a lot of hasty decision making. You know, he had the right stuff to go ahead and just macro and instead of attack, almost like a Terran feels the necessity to, but he's a Protoss. So I wonder if he, analyzed those games, talked to the guys. I think as the day wore on Friday, he did become, understandably, increasingly more tilted. Definitely no judgment. It just sucks to lose in such ways. Okay, Probe, what are you doing?
Yeah,
but if he was able to actually, as soon as he heard that Probe might not be able to make it, to actually go back and see, like, what are they doing wrong, I think his play without those hasty decisions could actually tackle Future, maybe like a game.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we are definitely expecting Future to take the series, but this Reaper already starting things off well.
I mean, the Reaper technically is stock. It should well, that's not good stalker movement. It might actually get out there. I feel like that Reaper should always go down if it's that deep into the main base, but it will get out because that stalker just didn't move up quickly enough. He didn't lose a probe, by the way. I mean, lost some mining time, took a lot of damage on a couple of workers, did not lose. Is this a Dark Shrine?
Yeah.
I feel like it must be a Dark Shrine.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, you're right. If he's going to actually keep the probe there, I was wondering if it was just maybe he kept it there because it's where he usually sends his probe, but he's going to build a pylon and go for a Dark Shrine. Did he kill the Reaper? That was a kill on it?
He killed the Reaper.
Okay, that was the kill on the Reaper. So this is a little awkward. The medevac drop does scout. If the Dark Shrine's like in the base, it scouts it like basically as the DTs are like warping in, which could be a little unfortunate. But in this case, obviously the Dark Shrine won't be there, so he'll scout
Maybe he's gonna build like 4 gateways in the left bottom side.
Yeah, okay. But this, still, this is more of scouting like the absence of things.
Yep.
And in this case, like the gases, for instance, like either one of them would be taken as opposed to a third one in like a regular Twilight build. And that's like, we're gonna really have to pay close attention to see if Future does kind of sniff some things out here. He already built a bunker, so he's obviously thinking like I have to be a little bit safe here, but what else is he thinking?
As Johan Merlo would say, le explosion de gateway. That's probably what's going to happen over here. I feel like Pezz is really hoping for a Hellion opening here. He's like, I'm so ready for Hellions. Well, unfortunately, it's not a Hellion opening. I'm not even sure if Future was going to drop, but he is going to pick up those 3 Widow Mines, and he will start dropping. There we have all those gateways. Oh, that's cheesy.
Cheesy.
8 gate, okay.
I mean, I love the decision to open up this way, but I am just, it's literally about to happen. Does Future actually see something off here? Now, the gases in the main are already taken off, or is he keeping them for the Widow Mine drop?
I actually wouldn't mind, by the way, if he starts Blink after charge, because I still think that's a nice thing to have, and I know that this is mostly about the Zealots, because he's obviously all-inning here. But I think that's one thing that you would like to have, and you're going to otherwise float gas anyway. The Stalkers are way out of position, but if you just lose a couple probes here, it's not all that bad. Well, he loses dual probes, and there's one more mine that can fire, and Pezz knows about that. Pezz doesn't care, by the way. Oh, no. He's not looking.
No. Okay, that made it a little bit worse, but still. But the thing is, like, while a Wood of Mine drop could have done some substantial damage, I think more importantly for, I guess, my Terran's perspective here, bias, is that did he realize that something was off? Because I don't know, did the medevac actually even get to the natural? I don't think it did.
No, but
it came back.
He didn't see any units, and there were no units busy cleaning up
That's
those
true.
mines. So
But the Stalker showed himself just now.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
there's nothing else coming down here. No more bunkers on that high ground. No more supplies either.
Zealots!
The Warp Prism going to be warping in here,
Pick
and
up
that
your
was
stalkers,
just
pick up your
in
stalkers.
vision. Future, like, what is he going to do? He's going to keep the bunker alive at the very least, but there's not a lot of units here, and that charge light count is about to increase dramatically. It looks like the Wood of Mine's actually going to get another shot, so there's not going to be as many charge lots.
He really needs to get those stalkers in the main base, man. They're useless over there in the natural. He's finally going to pick them up, but he already lost 2. Yes, the Zealot count is getting decent. He's going to get a few more, but the SimCity is not working out. That one Zealot is really confused.
This is already done.
Really good movement by Future. I think, okay, more Zealots coming in from
here
the
we go.
south side. I have no idea where those came from. Now he needs to crush it. He's going to try to get a surround, a little bit of Warp Prism Micro as well. Can we get a few more Zealots? The answer is yes, but I got to say, really good unit positioning here by Future. That medevac is super important as well, keeping those Marauders alive. Stalker spoken to Marauder, that's exactly what they do. Stim is almost done. I mean, that's a lot of SCVs going down already, but Pezz still needs a little bit more. He knows that he needs more, because he's been losing probes at home as well.
I think he's got it. Like, the production's going to be pretty consistent. It's obviously camping the production of the Terran. He just needs a couple of more warp-ins. Nothing's coming out from the factory or the starport.
Oh.
And that is going to be it. Pezz, fist pumping, man. He is super passionate about that victory. Where did those... Can you actually rewind and see where the heck those Zealots came from? Because when I said that was it, it's because there were just basically no Zealots. And then suddenly 7 Zealots come out here. And I think that also surprised Future, who's also like, hey, this is kind of weak.
He warped them in the left bottom. He warped them in over here.
Oh, the Warp Prism probably wasn't in position, so he was like, I got to use my Warp Ins now.
Yes.
Which is actually the right call, but if Future had in some way been able to predict that or actually react to it and had to raise the supply depot, very different game.
Yeah, but I also think that this could have been a bit better for Pezz if he would have just brought those Stalkers up to the high ground immediately. The Stalkers were never going to kill that bunker. That's just something that doesn't happen. So having 4 Stalkers here is actually so nice, especially because it was so hard for these Zealots to get the proper swipes up, right? Because I felt the defense by Future was really good until, those extra Zealots showed up. Indeed, if that depot is raised, Jess, I think you're spot on. This is a completely different game. Now, of course, the Prism could maybe still pick up Zealots, but it takes longer, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was I said it. I already liked that he was doing something this cheesy to start things off, and I think it is one of those things that's also hard to scout, because even if he did have the presence of mind to be like, how many guys were on that gas in the main? You pull your probes against Wood of Mines. Like, it's really hard to see that they actually pulled 2 instead of 3 out of gas. And even if he had gotten some type of knowledge, again, maybe that 3rd gas or lack thereof was scouted, that's the most, like, last-second scout you can really get. Like, you're the best-case scenario is your Reaper still alive scouting something's off and it goes around, checks the corners. But if it doesn't do that, that is supposed to be hard to hold.
I think maybe if you get a bunker in the main base, your life is pretty much already fine, right? Like, one bunker is so hard to kill for a build like this, the one that Pezz went for.
You can, like, barely, like, again, if you have that, like, last-second scouting with the medevac, you can, like, barely fit a bunker in if it's, like, you know, kind of, like, maybe behind your production. Kind of walled off. So that would have been the big difference.
Yep.
That would have made those charge lots not do the damage they did. Pezz obviously very happy about that, kind of getting the momentum here. I think that's his one victory based off that, right?
Yep.
The next games have got to be his macro game.
But the reason I'm smiling is that, yes, this is the underdog Protoss, but even if you're the favorite as a Terran player, and that obviously Future is the favorite here in this series, it's so awkward because now not tournament life is on the line, but upper bracket life is on the line. You need to survive 2 games, and in the first game you already got cheese. It's like, all right, what else is the great book of Protoss bullshit has in store for me, right?
Exactly.
There's so many things that you suddenly have to be paranoid about once you're trailing in a series. And don't forget, the first round of the quarterfinals is still best of 3. So, I mean, the Aussies are already, I feel like, doing better than they were in the first 2 days against the top favorite that these 2 American Terran players are. Even though Vindicta won, and Future can still win it. So far, so good for the lovely nerds from down under in the right bottom side. We're looking at the main base. What cheeky little Protoss, it is Pezz.
In the top left, as the Red Terran, he is Future. And Roddy, what do you think about their good luck have funds? There's a space in them, man. Both of them.
That's a nice thing. That's the more polite way to do it.
Do you think they really respect each other?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Future maybe right now a little bit less, but he's like, man, I'm surrounded by these nerds, so I can't really be too upset. Like, if this is an online cup, there's no way someone would put the space there, okay? Like, after you get 8 gated in the first game, you don't get a space of the good luck have fun in game 2, but...
I'd be hesitant to start the good luck have fun, that's for sure.
I mean, you know what's really funny is that I've been streaming for like 8-9 years, right?
Yeah.
Literally every single game, I always say GG, good luck. This is my thing. That's something I used to do since the Warcraft 3 days. A lot of the Warcraft 3 players in my days, they always wrote GG, good luck, because you know there's no fun.
There's no fun.
You didn't want your opponent to have too much fun, okay? Because like if they're picking up Tome of Experiences and stuff, like yeah, that's a lot of fun for them, but not for me. So it was always just like GG, good luck. That's the way we did it. I've been streaming for 8 years and still pretty much once a stream every single day. Still right now in 2020, some be like, wow, GG already? Isn't that bad minute? I'm like,
wow.
No, mate. Like it's just like good game, good luck. There's nothing weird about that. Like we're hoping for games, like, but that's an offensive GG. I was like, no, mate. Like literally nothing has happened yet in the game. I was like, if I kill 2 SCVs and then I write GG, that's an offensive GG, okay?
Yeah, offensive GG is the worst thing you can ever do.
Yeah,
I take
yeah.
it very seriously. That's not offensive GG.
No.
No.
I get pretty triggered when people do it against me. People are always like, brother, you stay so calm. It's like, well, because I don't want to give them the satisfaction of me like smashing my desk over here, you know. But the offensive GGs, I think they're pretty rude, and I feel like pretty much only barcode players do it. Like I rarely see a non-barcode player offensive GG me. Like it almost never happens.
Occasionally I'll get that one guy that I match over and over again. I know he's BM, but I'm also very liberal with block communication in game.
Okay, I never do that. Well, unless they say horrible words. Like if they're funny BM, or they just like kind of throw out a couple of funny insults where they're like, oh, you suck, man, like go get a life. Like I chuckle about those things. If they are very rude and use very, you know, horrific words, that's when I'll use the block communication. See,
Roddy, you're a much nicer person than I am. I've had a rant about this. I'm part of the problem for StarCrafter, right? You try and talk to me for more than like 4 sentences in a StarCraft game, I assume you're cheesing. You know, I'm never any friendliness. Not unless I actually know the person, I suppose. Like I'll talk to you when we matched up a couple times when you're off racing Zerg back then. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, we had a sick game once, right? A long one. On yeah, I think you beat me in the end, but
I did.
Like I was hanging in there for a bit.
yeah. Our second game was the Brood War one.
Yeah, that was the best Brood War game I've ever played.
Yeah.
You also won that. Jeez Louise, Jess, you just win all the time. Huh?
Yeah, that's the trend I'm seeing right now. The opening here is the Stargate opener. We already had 2 probes go down to the Reaper. That is a little annoying considering Pezz was able to barely hold on in the last game. But it is Stargate. It's not Oracle. It's Phoenix.
Yep.
He knows Roddy's watching him.
No, yeah, he's done a couple Phoenix builds already, right, earlier in this tournament. And the good thing here for Pezz, actually, is that Future has not scouted the fact yet that he's going up against a Stargate here. Maybe he's assuming it. But one of the worst things for a Terran player is that you don't know. You pick up your 3 Widow Mines, you put them in a medevac, and then once you're over here, you fly into 3 Phoenixes. Sure, you can drop your mines and maybe you can somehow get 1 shot off. That shouldn't even happen. But that's a really bad start for a Terran player. And Future is actually the very first Terran player so far in this tournament that does not know he's playing against Phoenixes. Because all the other Terrans, they always scouted it. Literally every single game. So the Phoenixes were never really able to snipe that medevac. If Pezz gets a clean sweep on this medevac, he snipes it mid-air, or okay, he finds it in the middle of the map. If I'm Future, I'm turning around, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised he was gonna continue. Okay.
So this is a way to buy time. I don't hate this. Okay, that medevac is in dangerous waters. 1 Phoenix is gonna soak up the shot. Okay. I mean, okay. Ooh. Okay, it's not the cleanest way to deal with this, but it's still good for Pezz. Make no mistake about this, guys. Obviously, no probes are going down. Losing a Phoenix stings a little bit, but he did kill the medevac, and he should be able to get this last mine as well. Sure, he burned some energy and stuff like that. It's not too bad. It could have been a lot worse.
I think for Future, and I'm going to be like, you know, that over-the-top critical, I think in that situation is absolutely one of those just like, you know it's dead, just give up on it, and just make sure the rest of your game is perfect. And he kind of did, he had a bit late on the stim, maybe a bit late on those barracks. I think that's what you got to do when you realize that you've been caught in the middle of the map, unless you're already like boosting it back. But I mean, I spoke too soon, getting 2 units with 2 Widow Mines. I thought there's only 1.
No. 1 ran away immediately.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it actually got away.
And the other one was actually left behind. So in the end, Future got some damage done with his drop. I still think it's quite alright. If I'm Pezz here, like that basic Stalker and that Adept, they're not that important for me. Losing the Phoenix is what hurts the most. But in the end, you were able to pick off 3 Widow Mines and a medevac for an Adept, a Stalker, and a Phoenix. I'm okay with it because he's not taking economic damage, right? And if you don't take economic damage as a Protoss, you know you're always going to be up in workers unless you're doing something terribly wrong. But that is not the case here for Pezz. So it wasn't perfect. Still pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to sum it up. Going into that Colossus, it's something that Future should be expecting. He's not gone for a Raven. Okay, so
Lose
yes,
both.
he has to scan. Exactly. He gets one observer. Knows another one's going to be placed very soon because he saw it. He just couldn't get to it. But
This push is going to be very important. Do you think he might pull some SUVs as well? Like, I know it's not
he's on 5
necessary,
barracks.
but
No, he's on 3. I don't know. He might just go for the third on the actual third. Yeah, that's what he's gonna do.
what I find crazy here is that there is no SUVs. I think you always want to have a couple of SUVs. That medevac is very exposed. Good job so far by Pezz. Pezz already has one Colossus. The second one's on the way. What I'm missing here, by the way, is a Marauder. One Marauder to deal with those tanks, or excuse me, one Immortal to deal with those tanks, or one Immortal to deal with that Marauder. I think would make it a little bit better. But then again, Future is very marine heavy here, so if those Colossi can get a couple of good spikes off, don't let him siege up too close. Pezz, you gotta be a little more adventurous than that. Obviously the Phoenixes could potentially lift the tanks. I think Pezz can defend this, but he cannot mess up. He's taking a lot of damage. Guardian Shield here is very important. Please make sure you have a Guardian Shield.
Yeah, he does. And he's going to have a second Colossus just now. +1 is going to finish up for our Terran alongside concussive shells.
You got to fight here, Pezz. You don't want to lose those batteries. One battery does go down immediately. The second one goes down as well. The Phoenixes are a little bit late, but now reinforcements show up. Can these Colossi bring the fight to those Marines? I mean, the answer is sort of yes, but now they're shooting at Marauders, and that just takes a little too long. The tanks survive as well, and Future is getting an absolutely phenomenal trade here. He even has a tank left in that medevac that he drops as well, and Future actually wins it. I feel like if Pezz would have fought the army immediately or fought when the batteries were up, that would have gone so much better than waiting for those reinforcements to show up.
Yeah, I think we could actually like rewind and take a really in-depth look at that, because that was a situation where not much has happened in the game. Yeah. So it is about the type of engagement you take. Hi.
We can go back to the sword production. We're making this a little bit awkward right now, but you can go ahead if you guys want to join into our game real quick.
Yeah.
I actually think right now, as soon as that this is actually just a perfectly fine moment to fight. If the tanks are not sieged, it's a really good moment to fight. If the tanks do siege, you can always disengage. But this is actually a good moment to get a couple swipes off. If the tanks siege, okay, you wait. But now there was no reason for Pezz to go all the way here, because now both batteries died. And that actually just didn't make it a good fight. And then obviously once he finally did start the fight, it was one of the worst fights he could take, because A, the tanks are sieged up, B, your batteries are dead, and C, the Phoenix were a little bit too late to lift those tanks, right? Like, these tanks are never supposed to A, be here, and B, get shots off.
Yeah, I was also looking to see if he was mismacroing just a bit, and he was. You know, he had 600 minerals just 5 seconds ago.
Also, we were talking, sorry just to cut you off, but we were talking about Guardian Shield and how important it is.
Yeah, he got sniped actually.
Immediately.
Yeah, I think that might have been on purpose from Future.
Absolutely.
To target, well, even that or just the middle of the army, either one, and that worked out. But yeah, maybe should have had a couple more Zealots, but I absolutely agree about poking forward the Colossus. Obviously, it feels very dangerous to do, because Colossus, if they're jumped on, are screwed. But they have that range, right? So they can actually start to swipe off against a mostly Marine army, and before they even have their upgrades. But that's literally it, though. You have to reevaluate that engagement, because that's the only thing I can really see that went wrong.
Yep.
There was not much else. He dealt with a medevac drop. He dealt with the Wood of Mines. His build, I think, was fine. Maybe there's some this, that, or the other, but that was the game that Future wanted to play in terms of that doing that push. I think the medevac, again, it's like, it sucks it doesn't do anything. It sucks it gets taken out, but as long as the rest of your build is going pretty swimmingly, then go ahead. You'll be okay. And now Pezz has to make that decision. Does he try and do the cheesiness again, getting him that win in the first game, or does he try and just do another macro game and fix those engagement mistakes? Because I think it's also likely that Future does the same build. It's just a nice build to do. Get some scouting, get some decent pressure, and he's already done it twice, obviously, so I would guess it's the same thing for the third game.
To go back maybe to the very beginning of the game with that medevac that obviously got scouted in the middle of the map and dropped the 3 mines immediately. I think, obviously, we went over it already, that it was it could have been better. I think the best way to do that as a Protoss player is don't get too overeager. That Robo is close to finishing up. And sure, it sucks to sometimes wait like 15 or 20 seconds before you can kill those mines, but just be patient.
Yeah.
Like, rally that first observer there. You know that nothing else could possibly hit you in that phase in the game, because if a Terran player opens up with a medevac and 3 Widow Mines, they simply don't have anything else to deal damage. So just wait those 20 to 25 seconds, and then you get the super clean pickup, right? Maybe that medevac escapes, so what? You lose 0 units, you kill 3 mines, you gotta be incredibly happy with that as a Protoss player.
Yeah, there's a little slight mishandling, but I think it was certainly a lot about that one engagement. So game number 3 on World of Sleepers. In the bottom left, as the red Terran, he is Future.
Probably got a little bit nervous when he's down 0-1, and then he flies into Phoenixes in the middle of the map, and he's like, yeah, is this really happening? Well, it wasn't. Let's see if this man can complete the upset in the right top side. Hailing from Australia, it is Pezz.
You know, funnily enough, this is like, you know, it can go either way, but I'm going to say that seeing that it was Phoenix would maybe put me a bit more at ease. He didn't actually see that it was a Stargate, and it sucks to lose your medevac like that, as you were talking about, running into Phoenix, you didn't know what you were doing, and just not doing any damage and losing your units. On the other hand, if it is that Phoenix opener, those are hardly ever any all-ins, right? So you don't have to worry about Dark Shrine suddenly popping up, or the gateways once again with that charge. So on like that one hand, Future might have been like, oh, macro game. Okay, this is where I'm going to shine, so I should just play my games to the best of my ability, even though I lost my medevac. Because I think he is a confident guy and he knows he should win.
Absolutely, I think you make a very valid point there. But there is also like that counter argument where that is almost not even a fair macro game. If Protoss goes Phoenix, but also quick 3 bases and Colossus, you're really hoping for a very select few of builds. Because there are a couple of builds where you're in a world of trouble against that you almost can't hold. Like if the stim would have been super quick, or the random marine move out, or if it's 3 racks opening, because it's not like Pezz really scouted that much in the main base of Future.
True.
So that is kind of like the ideal build or the scenario for a Phoenix Colossus play that goes up to 3 bases quickly. You really want to play against 1-1-1, and you want to snipe that medevac in the middle of the map. Because if Future does nothing, right, if he doesn't move out, he is going to be quite far behind. And sure, he's confident, but there is not that much you can do against Phoenix that have a lot of vision, control the map, control the pace of the game, and then maybe even a double robo playstyle. The only thing you can then really do is be like, all right, I'll sit back forever.
Yeah.
But you know you're behind then, right? So it's a bit awkward. But I still, obviously, I think that you're spot on when you say, like, Future is probably happy to go up against Phoenix because he knows that he's good enough to punish it. Whoa, that Reaper, by the way, got 2 kills.
Yeah, just like last game.
Sorry, guys, missed it.
No worries. The I think that does come down to the extra element that we don't... If we're casting, you know, GSL round of 4 or the finals, we're not really talking about are they mechanically going to be different so much, right? It is just kind of pure strategy to strategy. But that is an element we're going to bring up in this tournament, is that like a Future, not just a confident player, but perhaps just like better mechanically, is going to be like, you know what, that is usually a really bad sign for me, but I think that my macro is going to beat him. In that game, it was not so much maybe macro as it was just, again, decision making, which we talked about a lot in the beginning of the series, so I'm sure we'll talk about it here in the 3rd game with a Twilight Council opener. We will be paying attention to see if it's going to be a bit cheesy, but no probe in the corner of the map. I think it is just going to be that blink opener. And he sees it.
You know, I'm a really big fan of that resume from replay option that is available since a couple of years in StarCraft 2, and I really like it. I think that previous game, if you resume it from replay when Futurist army is like almost there but not totally red, I think if you do that twice, you can actually do so well there as Pezz. Like you move out a little bit when the tanks are not siege yet, you force the siege very far away, get a couple swipes off, you disengage, you let them come closer, and then you just fly in with the Phoenix, you lift the 2 tanks, maybe the Marauder. Like there was only 1 Marauder, eventually 2 Marauders, but there were 4 Phoenixes, right? Imagine you fly, you run in there with the army, you lift the 2 Marauders and the 2 tanks. Every Colossus shot will be at Marines. Do you know what an amazing fight you're going to have right there? Because in 0.5 seconds, half of the Terran army is going to be gone. Like, Pezz could have handled that a lot better, and then he would have been not just in a good position, but in an absolutely fantastic position.
Absolutely. There's a lot of different ways to be good at StarCraft, and taking engagements is obviously one of them. People can have the best macro and the best marine splits, but if they're taking poor engagements,
This
you
is
can
fast,
Zerg,
by
it
the
sucks.
way. This is real fast.
It is indeed. Hitting like long before 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, you cannot get any faster than this, by the way. This is a 440 drop. Blink is never going to be ready. It's only 2 mines, but this is so smooth by Future. An absolutely perfect build order by him. This is a lot of lost mining time. I love it. The on-barrel Blink is still not done, by the way. You can on-barrel one more time. At least this one, I'd say. He doesn't do it, but he wants to get out of there. You gotta give it up, mate. You gotta give it up. He's worried about Blink finishing up. You never know how many times they chrono boosted Blink, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in this case, I think it was maybe... Well, actually, that might have been twice.
Yeah. Like, you can absolutely have Blink at the 5-minute
Yeah,
mark.
sure. Well, that's going to be a single forge, actually follow-up, not going to the double forge style.
I think that is fine because we saw that a lot at BlizzCon, right? When if you go double forge, you can't really defend the 2 base pushes. But then if you go single forge, you just barely have enough units if Terran does make a very quick move out. Because you need the right amount of Zealots, you need the Guardian Shield, and you need a couple of Blink Stalkers as well. Pezz is going to try to do, I think, what... Whoa! The Widowmine drop came back and killed 4 more probes. I gotta say, some shitty observing by me this series. I'm
It's
sorry,
okay.
guys. It will get better throughout the day.
Yeah, we're warming up,
Yeah.
and that was a that was an okay thing to miss, I guess, because that actually could have been really bad. I don't think he responded at all, which in some cases is like better, right? Because if you pull the last second, it's the worst. But Observer's gonna go down. No blink stalker harassment here. Now they're gonna have to go like the reactors, I guess. Actually, would have been a fine thing to go after, but stim would have been done. No more stim snipes in this game. Though.
I think ideally what you want to do, because like the stalker count is not that high that you can really snipe things if the Terran units are there. But I think what he's hoping for is this army to move out and then blink in and cause a little bit of indecisiveness maybe by Future. Future is just relentless with his Widowmine arrest this game. He's gonna get one more probe. These stalkers cannot go all the way home, by the way, because that is exactly what Future wants. Pezz knows it as well. Pezz needs to buy time, and that's not gonna be easy, but he needs to buy time. He needs to start shaving off Marines. You gotta be careful here. That's a couple shots though. That's some decent damage on these Marines. You need to buy more time, my friend, because right now, the soup does not lie. It's 25 army supply against 67. I personally think 59 workers is too much. I think you gotta really draw the line at 55. That's kind of my opinion. Stalker goes down. Pezz just doesn't have enough, man.
He
sorry.
doesn't have his gateways done, I think, as fast as they should have been.
He's got nothing, Jess.
Yeah, he has nothing, right? Like, the Zealots should be warped in.
Oh my God,
There we go,
probes.
finally. But it's taken a long time.
How did 4 more probes go down? Not a Widowmine
Magic.
probe.
that is not a big army. The Force Field is used. The Guardian Shield is used too.
Freighter
The
mines?
Widowmines are even going to get some decent shots. Is that what he was going for with the
Yeah,
Immortal?
yeah.
Okay,
No,
I
I
guess.
think that was an accident, but then he's
Yeah.
like, I may as well, right? That's the Hail Mary play, where the Immortal runs into the Terran army and the Widowmines kill it all. There's that one medevac that does finally go down, but one more mine. How many kills does this mine have? 13. That's
Dang.
13 probes. I think in this 7-minute game, like 20 workers has gone down or something. 17 grand total. Pezz just doesn't have the units, guys. An incredibly clean build here by Future. Played perfect from the beginning till the end. The first drop was as quick as they possibly come. Did a good job saving the medevac. Did a good job saving the mines. And that will mean that Future is also advancing to the semifinals here of Ozcraft. At least the upper bracket of the semifinals. But he too had to work for it.
Yeah, he had that surprising loss in the game number 1, where maybe there was a bit of overconfidence. We didn't expect the Zealots. He didn't expect the Zealots coming from the south side. And then 2 macro games that went what we expected. Very clean play from Future as he joins us on the couch.
Oh, sorry,
It's
man.
about his first match of the series. And did we get an update on the other match that was happening?
Blisk against Azure? No, but maybe the production can let us know, because I know they're listening. At least I hope they're listening.
What's up?
Hello,
us.
matey. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On winning your first series in the upper bracket. I think quite a series to start your playoff run here.
Yeah, I didn't respect. The trend this event has been I'm not respecting the Yolans enough. So like that first game was a bit rough because I think I definitely had more than enough to defend. I just didn't really handle it properly.
Yeah, I think you could have held, obviously, especially because the harass phase was good
Yeah,
with
yeah,
your
it
mines
was
and stuff.
fantastic.
But like I think Jess also, like we were both unaware of those extra zealots coming in from the south side.
Yeah,
Because he
yeah.
warped those zealots in the left corner where he hit all his gateways. And we're like, oh, I think Future is doing this well because you had really good SCV positioning and the SimCity.
Yeah, I feel like I was doing okay,
Yeah.
but
I think it's the extra 6 zealots. Because like imagine
Yeah.
if you have your depot race there. Then
depot raise. I think I could have pulled more SCVs
Yeah.
like faster
Yeah.
because like I know he's all in and I've
Yep.
already done damage. So, and also I think I could have prioritized my Marines a bit more. Like I didn't really build that many Marines off the tech lab. Like because usually when you get to the tech labs, you go into Marauder production, but you can also make like a 2 cycles of Marines off both of them. So that's
Yeah.
what in 4 extra Marines as well that I could have had. Like there's just a few like small mistakes that game,
Yeah.
but I just kind of got caught off guard a little bit.
I like what you said there. I didn't really think about it, but I thought you were doing perfect with the SCVs. But now that you bring it up, that you could have pulled more, that actually makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense
like
because it's all about surviving. Even if you survive with, let's say, 14 SCVs.
Yeah, and this is even true if I didn't even get the harass damage done because
Yeah.
I know it's 2 base charge.
Yep.
It's just an awful
Yeah.
all.
if you get +1, you
Yeah.
get stim, you get 2 medevacs out. Like what's
yeah,
gonna
like
happen?
as soon as stim's done,
Yeah.
the game's over basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just one of those things where I just didn't really respect it enough. I think so. It's just
Excellent
kind of
point.
sloppy.
Excellent point. Game 2. Obviously, you didn't know that you were playing against a Stargate.
Yeah, it was a bit cheeky.
What went through your mind when you saw those phoenixes in the middle of the map harassing that first medevac?
I don't know. It's just kind of didn't really freak out at all. I was just kind of like,
Okay.
okay, that's cool. Honestly, I was pretty happy because I got way more done with the mines than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So like, honestly, it was like a net win for me because he didn't really harass me very much. He didn't really scout me very much, and I knew he was playing Colossus, and I was going to tanks.
Yeah.
So I saw he was going Colossus, so I went to tanks, and like if you have a cleaner early game, right? If you have a cleaner builder,
Yeah.
better mechanics, whatever you want to call it, like I will kill the Colossus player every single time with that 2 tank push. So like, even though I didn't really get a third. Like, I know for a fact I will kill him.
Would
every
you say
single time.
that's a generic statement, or are you referring to this game in particular?
I think it's generic statement overall. Like, it's hard to say because obviously, there's gonna be some top Europeans that are like, well, I'd probably beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where you're getting the DM mate from Drogo and DNS. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well,
like-
future.
Yeah, like I know you guys would probably beat me, but like generally speaking, like the 2-tank push against Phoenix Colossus is very strong. So like I felt very comfortable in that situation.
Yeah.
One more question, just real
Okay,
quick,
go
because I don't know, production, if you guys still have that clip that we were analyzing a little bit at the end of the Nightshade game, the second match. Because I do agree with you, and I think that your push is very strong. But I actually, like I was talking a little bit about this, but I really like the resume from replay future. I actually think he had a lot of potential to be in an excellent position there. I think if he moves out a little bit earlier and he fights you when the tanks are not siege yet, he just gets 1 or 2 swipes off, right? Like he kills
Definitely.
3-4 Marines, then he disengages, and then he fights with Guardian Shield. You had 2 Marauders and 2 tanks. I think if he runs in with his army...
I
and
had
com-
4 Mars.
What?
4 Mars.
I only saw 2.
Because I remember for a fact 'cause I was like stemming them forward.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
at
that,
the
but that's
the
when the
very end.
reinforcements
Oh,
showed
okay.
up. I'm
Yeah.
talking about
Okay,
your
okay,
first
okay,
army.
okay.
You had 2. Imagine if he lifts the 2 Marauders and the 2 tanks. Like, let's say army comes first, but then he lifts the 4 armored units. Then I think in half a second you're going to lose so many Marines that I think that would have been a very tough fight
I think
for
there's
you.
potential
Yeah.
for that to work. Then I think that just comes down to like how well I can like micro and all that
Maybe
stuff
snipe
because
Phoenix
because
immediately.
basically I need to split the Marines forward like because I always split the Marines forward, micro them, all that stuff. Because the thing is, his army doesn't have a lot of damage.
No.
Doesn't have a lot of
Not against
burst-
armored,
not
but against
light.
light.
Yeah, so against the tanks, it's very difficult for him to kill it.
Yeah.
So if I have really good Marine splits
Yeah.
and I prioritize the Phoenix and I take a good engage, it can definitely go my way. So I think it is just one of those things where
I think it's a dance.
it is a
obviously,
dance,
But
It
I think
definitely
there
is a
was
dance.
potential for him there.
Yeah, it's one of those dance where like if it is like DNS or like Drogo, it is very very scary. But generally speaking, I am very comfortable in that kind of situation. I usually do extremely well against like all the NA Protosses except for like obviously Neeb and all that.
I mean,
Yeah, and Roddy.
kidding me.
Okay, just to touch briefly on that third game then. I mean, it was kind of a straightforward one. Not much really happened. There was a sneaky couple of Widow Mines that kept getting damage, but the first fight the first Widow Mine drop wasn't that bad. So, like, when you were watching and just completing your build order, did you just have a feeling that your mechanics were going to be better and this was going to do it? Or were surprised that I guess he didn't have as much as he should on that third base?
I mean, I think it went as I was expecting it. Everything went pretty smoothly besides the game 1. I will say though, in that third game, I definitely did. Felt a little bit of pressure. You know what I mean? It's like, well, this is game 3. This will be a rough time. So I think I made like a slight mistake. Like I got double gas at 430 instead of just 1 gas. So I definitely made like some small mistakes, but I think overall it was okay.
I actually felt your execution in the final game was the best of the 3. I thought you were perfect, honestly. Like I know
very
perfect
clean.
games don't exist, but the harass was good. The timing on like your first matter of fact was as quick as it possibly could be.
I think
right?
all that was good. Like it's just specifically like getting the extra gas at 430.
Sure.
This is the pro gamer talk.
Yeah, it's like actually just
Good game. I had a 45 army supply advantage when I moved out, but that gas though, just
yeah, that ruined it. I guess using that question as like an overall, like to the tournament, I kind of had a feeling you're going to be confident, right? You sat down, you're like, another overconfidence thing. Like it's been happening with I guess you and Vindicta, like both. But yeah, you're feeling really confident, right? Like you think you're going to take first or second, perhaps. Like, do you ever account for that? You're accounting a lot for that. Did you expect the cheese in the first game because you do believe you're the better player and stuff like that?
I was definitely expecting something cheeky, like proxy gate, proxy stargate, that kind of thing. I just wasn't expecting charge all on because it's just one of those builds where it's like there's a lot of builds like that in StarCraft where they're like really bad, but they can work. You know what I mean? If you're just not ready for it.
Yeah.
And that's one of those builds where it's just like I just didn't account for it. Like
Yeah.
because like. I'm going in my head. I'm going through all these things. It's like really stressful to think about all the different all-ins you can go for. Like, okay, you could go DTs. You could just like parting YOLO blank on my natural. Like you saw in like a Nightshade, I was immediately pulling all my SCVs to the bunker because I just wasn't taking any risks.
Right.
There's just so many builds you need to account for, and that one slipped my mind. It's just, and that's definitely I think one of the most stressful things when you think you're the better player, and you know your opponent's going to try something cheeky, and just trying to think through all the things you could do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I guess just to end, like, does that make you reevaluate the tournament at all? Does that happen?
I don't think so. I think it's just kind of one of those things that you kind of have to go with, and
Yeah,
then
you
like
just-
I'm aware of what happened, and I'm gonna try to focus on fixing those small mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna move on. Like it doesn't bother me that much. It's just kind of one of those things. It obviously would bother me if I lost, but like, but like as long as I win this series, I'm aware of the mistakes I made. And I'm just gonna like work towards fixing that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like this was a better start for the Australians, you know,
Yeah,
or the
definitely.
non-North Americans. So I was
Yeah.
wondering if you guys had to be like, hold on a second. But yeah, good job. That's it
Congrats,
for me.
mate. Awesome
you.
series. I think especially that last game really spot on. If you bring that for the rest of the tournament, could very well be first.
Thank you.
Or maybe second. We'll see
Yeah,
how it
maybe,
plays
maybe.
out. Good job. Congrats. Good luck in the semifinals. I'm going to be playing best of. So
Yeah.
I think that's very nice for the Americans as well, right? Like that
Yes,
gives
it
them a
is.
little bit more of a buffer. Well, that's going to be it from us for now. Obviously, just like at the other days, we're going to get a couple of those other Australian nerds on this couch over here for you guys as well, because I see some cocktails on the table. And those cocktails, Jess, they won't drink themselves.
No, they won't. Look at them.
So I think it's time for a little break, and after that, we'll be back with much more StarCraft action.